let's work a little bit more on the Beetle wing dress. Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin. I'm a living historian who educates other living historians by teaching old-fashioned sewing skills and copying original garments. So we have been working on, oh that was a cat. We've been working on the Beetle wing dress, and I got to wear it to a little event not too long ago. And we made a petticoat to go underneath it, all of that good stuff. But it's time to actually finish it because I didn't have enough time to finish it by the time my event rolled around. So all I did for the skirt was just a little bit, enough to make it look like it was somewhat complete. But we're going to actually start on finishing it. We're going to begin with the center front panel, which ought to be a lot of, but thankfully I'm rather short-ish, kind of. I'm like 5'3", and I don't have to wear a hoop because this is like 1850, 1851. So it means my skirts are a little bit shorter, which will help because it means I don't have to do as much of embroidery as a taller person would. So it's just going to go somewhat in a V shape. So it's going to start wide at the bottom, kind of go up towards the top. And here's one of the cats. We took in a stray cat, who we thought was a kitten. Turns out she was with kittens. So we now have 4 kittens and 3 adult cats. One of them's an outside cat. She doesn't like being inside. I think that's enough introduction. We're going to go ahead and figure out the design for this thing and go ahead and get to the embroidery. Alright, we're going to start marking this thing. I've done 2 rows, but I want to show you kind of what the plan is here, because there is a method to this. So, we already have 2 rows on the bottom, right? And we're going to continue that little situation all the way up, but it needs to graduate into a triangle. It's just like an illusion to make your waist look small. A lot of trims did that. Alright, here's my center front. I did mark my center front here. So 2 extra rows. So now there's 4 rows. I started with 8, so that would be the top in between them. Let's see, there needs to be from top to bottom 5 1/4, 5 1/4-ish, 5 1/2-ish. Okay, yeah, so about 5 1/2. We need to mark up. So where the next row is going to be. I'm just going to try to get this straight. And then same for this one, although I do have the straight marked here. And I know I can do this part of it. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the triangle-y bit, which is fine because I realize that I don't want to copy the original exactly, because the more I look at Elytra dresses, the more I realize that each and every one of them is extremely unique. So I don't know if the same gown was made twice, and I don't know who made that. I don't know who made that one original gown and who wore it, and where they wore it, and where they lived, and all of that stuff. So I don't feel comfortable copying that dress exactly. So what I'm gonna do is look at 1850, 1851 embroidery books and see if I can come up with a period design that will work with Elytra. Also, I found an original with sequins, which were called spangles in the time period. I have some, and I love using spangles. Spangles are like my favorite thing, and we don't use them enough on this channel. So I want to incorporate spangles somewhere on this as well, and bring in more of the gold. So I think I'm going to need to pin in that, and we'll do that next month. So instead of doing 1 month on front, one on one side, one on the other side, and one on the back, we're going to do front part 1, front part 2, side to center back 1 month, and side to center back on the other side the next month. So that's how this is going to go. It's going to be a little bit different, but it'll give me time to research those embroidery styles since I want a different. I could be ironing this as well, but I probably should be ironing it because ironing it once the beetles are in there is difficult. I'm just marking 3 rows at a time because it's just, I did 2 at first. They were super long, so I didn't want to overwhelm myself, but I think at this point I just want to do 3 at a time, and I should have 3 more, maybe 2 more rows after this one. But we'll do all of this and then we'll get to that point. I am having a hard time at this point. I should have started from the top down. And the reason I should have started from the top down is it's really hard to gather up the fabric that I'm embroidering with all of these in the way, because you don't want to crush these accidentally. I mean, they're thick, they're like fingernails, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to break on me. Which honestly, there isn't much I could do about that because I had already done the, bottom 2 rungs. And I can't really do it from the top, and I could, but my brain's already accustomed to doing these from the way I'm doing them, so I think I'm just gonna have to work with it. Alright, so working on this section, I took out a little bit. I'm gonna continue taking out a little bit of the skirt seam because I can no longer reach up from the hem, and I can't reach up through the bodice either. It's too bulky. So I'm cutting slits in the skirt, which I had one on the other side for the pocket. This one's too far back for the pocket, but I'm cutting a hole in the skirt and then I will fix it later. And by later, I mean as soon as I get, well, actually, probably not this month, because I'm going to need to wait till I get the whole of the front embroidery done before I close that up, aren't I? I've been looking at a lot of Elytra images I've been looking at them for a while, but I'm going into more close-up images now. And I know that the little antennas that we did last time were kind of I see antennas, I need to just do something so I can wear this gown. So I decided to look into, okay, how do these really look? How are they really sewn? Because I don't think that the stem stitch I did was the best choice. And I think I'm right in that assumption. What I think I'm seeing on a lot of these images is something similar to couching. So where you just lay the thread around and you use little stitches in a smaller thread to kind of just tack it down. It's an older style of for embroidery. I know it was used in the 18th century some. For what I don't know, but it just, to me, it always struck me as an earlier embroidery. So I think that's what I'm actually seeing, which means I'm going to need to take out the antennas I've already done, which I'm fine with because I don't think they look very good anyway. But then there came the new question of, do I do it by month? Like, do I, all the ones around the hem, do I do that this month? Or do I make a month of, hey, let's outline all of the beetle wings? And I'm wondering if that's going to be easier for me, because I tend to like to do things in steps. I like to do all of one thing and then all of a second thing. So I'm wondering if it would actually be better for me, not for everybody, but for me, if I waited to outline all of these beetles and I did it all in 1 month, probably in December. Which, yes, is when we're supposed to debut the project, but usually I save that not just for debuting, but for any last minute things I need to do with the project. That's kind of that month to do it. So I think it might be outlining everything and then debuting it, which I have a dance in mind that I want to wear it to. It's kind of it's at an event, but it's kind of all time periods situation. So I think what we're going to do today, I was going to do the antennas on these, but now after looking at the antennas and realizing that I don't think that that's quite right, I think it's going to be better if instead of doing the antennas, we take out the antennas that I did last time that we worked on this dress, and instead waited till the end to do that and outline each and every beetle wing, which needs to happen as well. It'll just make them pop a little bit more. And also, I think there really need to be a hole in the bottom to keep all these things in place, because they do wiggle even when I do it like this. So I'm wondering if while we're outlining, if I just need to take the ones that are wiggling more and just make a little small stitch to keep them in place, just the larger ones. But I could do that on a case-by-case basis of which ones are actually moving around. But I'm feeling confident in the design choices now. I wasn't super confident when I started today's video, because I kind of had an idea of what I was going to do, but also I knew that was, I had doubts, but now I kind of have a plan, so I'm feeling good about it. But I now know that it's really easy to work top down. So if I ever do anything similar like this again, I know to work from the top down. And for subsequent videos where we do the embroidery, so the next 2-3 months, well, next month it won't help any, but for the 2 months after that, even though I have the ones at the bottom, I can kind of work around those. I'll just work, instead of working from the top instead of working from the bottom up on the design, I'll work from the top down on the design itself, and that should help me, at least somewhat. I may not need this hole in the skirt after next month, so we could probably close it up next month. And then there was one where a thread came loose. Where'd it go? There it is. I was gonna go ahead and fix that. Really, I think the thread broke or knotted or something. I just left it thinking I'd fix it later. And later has come. So far the backs aren't looking terrible. They look like the originals I've seen, just in more teal instead of green thread. That's because we dyed it somewhat off. But yeah, it's going. All right, I think we have 3 more in this section, and then we're gonna do the top 3 rows, which should be a lot less work because each row is getting smaller. 2 hours last night to get almost all of the last 3 rows done that we just did. The first 2 rows took me like 4 hours. So yeah, my main focus right now is just strategically figuring out which ones are the best ones to start with. Whenever I finish one, it's like, okay, what is the next most logical that's not going to get in my way, that I can reach? But I'll finish these 3. I just have 3 more here. I'll meet you back at the ironing board. We'll go ahead and finish the last few. And then, yeah, I guess the rest of the video is just going to be taking out the antennas that don't look good, which I'm actually really excited about because I really don't like how they look. So we'll take those out and then we'll redo them at a later date. All right, next section. Just wanted to end just a little bit below the point. Actually, it's gonna be a little too high. We may stop at the 2 because I can kind of gather. Okay, so we're not gonna do that last row. That's my center. Okay. So just 5 more to do. That's not bad. I can do that. Yeah, this would have been 100 times easier if I started from the top and worked my way to the bottom. So much easier. Learn from my mistake. If you are making one of these, or attempting to make one of these, I would do the embroidery before you sew your skirt panels together, honestly. And that way you don't have a lot of fabric to work with. It would be easier. And I just, wouldn't sew near where the selvages are of your skirt. And then you can embroider that part once you get the skirt sewn together. So you're not, it's just less work. I will say the more beetle wings I put on this, the more I like it. Because these are such pretty colors and it just helps set off the whiteness of the dress. I liked it when I wore it last. And it was fine. But I'm going to like it a whole lot more with all of the wings put on. Just because it's more color and it will look much more visually interesting. Alright, I think we're at the point now where we get to start taking out all of the antennas that I did along the bottom. I think I'm going to need to find some embroidery scissors for that. I mean, it already looks 100 times better, doesn't it? Like, that looks really good. I love that. Yeah, it definitely needed more color. That's what it needed. It needed more beetle wings. I almost want to leave it because I love it. It needs more, especially up here. I'm gonna come over. It needs more here, just right here. And I can't put another one of these right here because it would literally sit right here. So that's not gonna work. I guess I could put it a little bit further down, but I don't know how that would look. I think it would look kind of tilted off. So I think I can get a better triangular shape if I kind of move the side pieces up here. And if I meet them with like a little swirly or something, that way it looks continuous. Like, it doesn't look like I'm missing anything, but I don't run into the point here. So yeah, that's way better. Way better. I'm already so happy with it. Every time we do something on this project, it just looks better and better and better. And so even though I kind of want to leave it the way it is, I said that last time. And the more I looked at it, it's like, okay, it needs more wings. And I was right. And even though I love it the way it is, I think it needs even more wings. I think wings are the answer to this. I think we can probably do next month's video. I might have to buy another 500 more. I almost want to do next month's, see how many wings I use, which I guess I haven't counted up how many I used here. Here, let's count how many wings. It was 5 beetles per, no, 4. It took 4 per beetle. So the bottom row I think is 8. 7, 8, yeah, 8, and then 7, that's 15, 7, 6, 21, 5, 26, 4, 30, 3, 33, and 2, so it's 35. So at 35 wings times 4, so for today I used 140 wings, just for this video. So what are we at, like 600 now or something? And I know we're going to be, whatever we're going to end up doing is probably going to be pretty dense. I don't think I'll need another 1,000 wings. I think I might need 500 more. I'm thinking maybe, since I've gotten this much done, I'm thinking we're going to land between 1,000 and 1,500 of these elytra. That's my guess right now. Y'all can go ahead and put your guesses in the comments. So I might just buy a couple hundred more. They're going to be coming from India, so I almost don't want to wait to order them because I don't want us to have to postpone a video to get them in. But I feel like I need to get one side done so that I can know exactly how many I'm going to need. Because I don't want to really overbuy for this project because I don't foresee myself ever making one of these dresses again. I mean, I do somewhat wish I could just continue this pattern all the way around the skirt because there is an 1850s image that's similar. Now, she had a lot more on the hem of hers, and then she kind of had the space like this around the skirt. I'll put an image of it, and I love that. The reason we're not doing that is because I know I can't imagine sitting in that thing. Like, you're going to crush the wings. I don't see the practicality of that, and I'm not going to stand for an entire night of a ball. I mean, those things are hours and hours and hours, and you're dancing, so you get tired. So sitting is kind of important. So I don't know how that worked practically, but I love the look of the fullness around the whole skirt and then something big around the hem. Like, I love that look. I just don't see that working out practically, which is why we're not doing it. But the more I look at it, the more like I want that. Anyway, if you have enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe to the channel, click that little bell notification so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. And as always, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back here in the next video.